Hello, welcome to Geeking Out with Shad. I wanted to do an update on driving in cooler weather with the Chevrolet Bolt EUV. It's actually been more consistently colder, so it's been like mid 20s, low to mid 20s, and hasn't been getting over freezing, which is 32 degrees. I'm talking Fahrenheit here for people that aren't in the United States. So I want to do this update of what's going on with the efficiency of my car. Sorry, I'm like trying to get the screen ready and so on. So there's a reason I call this mileage over here on the left the gesso meter. So right now it says 146 miles remaining, and I just stopped following that because it jumps all over the place. And if the temperature goes up and I'm driving, it's wildly inaccurate. And now the temperature's dropped and I'm pretty sure it's wildly inaccurate. So the numbers, the two things I look at are how much battery I have left, just like I would look at the fuel gauge in a car. That's just like a duh for me. Now that I've been driving for a while, I just absolutely am like, I'm going to treat it like I would a car that has fuel in it. And when the battery gets down to a certain point, I'm going to plug it in. So the other numbers that are important to look at is that 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour and 52.7 miles. So with the 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, you can see the efficiency of the car, and it's obviously dropped way down. And what's also interesting about that number is that is commuting with regen on, and it's not highway driving or long range driving. I have something to say about that in a second, but this is also the first time that I've noticed that battery conditioning has had to kick in. So 4% of the usage is battery conditioning, 27 is climate settings, and 69 is the driving. So when I say when it gets really cold that you start to lose about 50% of your range, that's when this will start to get down to 50%. But 69% is still pretty good. Like, it's actually better than I expected for these temperatures, believe it or not. And the fact that battery conditioning is kicked in is important to know. So now we know that we're in the temperature range where it needs to condition the battery and make sure it keeps it warm, and it needs to use the battery to do that. So this is where everything really, when you get into colder weather, is where everything starts to get really interesting. I'm gonna call this like kind of mid-cold temperatures for where I live, because it will definitely get a lot colder. There's in December, January, February, there's times where we just go an entire week of it never getting above 20 degrees, or even sometimes never getting above 15 degrees or something like that. And there's times when it goes below zero for a few days at a time. Due to climate change, I feel like that's happening less and less. Like, we used to have like some seriously cold weather, but this winter's, according to what everybody keeps telling us, that it's supposed to be a doozy. So we'll see. So yeah, the efficiency is down. I'm just doing this video. I'll put the math below, and I'll do the math for 22.8 miles a kilowatt hour and do the math to show you what the actual range would be at that efficiency level. And it's just displayed on the screen right below here as I'm talking. So I say this a lot now. If you own an EV, just stop going by how many miles are left. I mean, yes, it's an important number, but it's so inaccurate and jumps all over the place. I mean, that's probably why they do the min and the max, but even 119, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's pretty accurate right now to what I would get if I was continuously driving in this temperature. One thing I want to add before I conclude this video is I have a friend that lives in Clayton, Wisconsin. He owns a bike shop, and I need to go there and pick up a suspension fork for my mountain bike and also bring him a bike that I'm selling him and stuff like that. So I wanted to drive this car there and back. It's 88 miles. And so where it's frustrating is that I'm not 100% sure if I would make it. I think I might, but in the colder temps, because I haven't actually been able to do that drive, I don't know if I would make it that far. So with highway driving in colder temps. So where it's frustrating isn't so much that I don't know that or that the car lacks range. It's frustrating because I'm trying to find a fast charger between here and there isn't anything reliable I can find anywhere, and that's frustrating. So if there's anything that needs to happen as we're moving forward into this electric range, it's the charging networks needs to be more robust. And I have to say, Minnesota, like the Minneapolis area, we're starting to really kick in and get more chargers and more fast chargers. As my trip about a month ago or so to the Filthy 50 race shows, I was able to find a fast charger and charge up. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind stopping and fast charging my car for whatever amount I need to do so I can make sure I get home. But Wisconsin, I feel like it's a charging desert, a charger desert. Like, I don't know what's going on in Wisconsin, but they don't seem to be all that motivated to be putting in chargers, and that's the annoying part. So it's going to be an interesting go moving into the EV future. It's definitely not where it needs to be, but I'm hoping it gets there, relatively soon. Because if there was a fast charger, I would absolutely take this car and go to the shop and do the fork and bike exchange. But because they're not, I'm going to be forced to drive my truck and use gas and be, in my opinion, more wasteful than I want to be. So I really hope the charging network just starts to really grow now, because it's a Sunday. If I had to drive there, it's an hour and a half drive roughly. If I had to drive there and stop for an hour, maybe grab lunch or something and charge my car and continue my trip, I would absolutely not mind doing that. I would be perfectly fine with that. So anyway, I just wanted to add that on the end. So apparently I'll be driving my truck, so I can't. The other thing is if there was a fast charger, I could make a video because then I would be sure I could get back home, right? And show the efficiency of driving that trip. But I'm going to have to do a different trip, right? Or one that's in Minnesota where I know there's more fast chargers and places I can stop, like up to my property or something. I will do that at some point for you so you can get what is the range like in cold weather doing a longer drive and stuff like that. I've done it in warmer weather, so you already know I got videos out, but what is it like in colder weather? Cool. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.